Kent County, Michigan went blue for Joe Biden in 2020. It is also home to freshman Congressman Meijer, one of 10 Republicans who voted for Donald Trump's second impeachment. Some GOP voters in Kent now concerned about their party's future. NBC News Now correspondent Dasha Burns joining me from Kent County. All right, Dasha, we know you spent a lot of time there last year talking with Republican voters about President Trump's first impeachment and the 2020 election. It became your home away from home. Now that you're back, what are some of those same voters telling you?
Hey, Allison. Yep, back in my adopted hometown, and it does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day here, and it's not just because of the winter weather, but the first time we met this group of Republican voters, and you'll recognize them, they're folks that have been on the show quite a bit, that was during the first impeachment trial. Now, here we go again, but of course, things are pretty different at this point, and we got a range of perspectives on the value of the impeachment trial, but everyone seemed to agree that this is a symptom of what's broken in Washington. Take a listen.
The entire Russian thing, we had to do research and we had to depend on others' opinions and such. Here we saw it play out in front of our own eyes on television.
He's standing back and just saying, well, I had nothing to do with it. My rally that day had nothing to do with it. And that's, to me, no different than standing in front of an open container of gasoline with a match, and saying, I didn't know it was going to explode.
I don't agree with this, that this impeachment should take place. Move on, get the people's business done, get the economy fixed, or rolling in the right direction. There's people out here that need help.
I did get the sense, though, Allison, that folks are a bit jaded with this process at this point. Even those who strongly believe that the president incited an insurrection and should be condemned for it sort of felt like they know what the outcome is going to be. So there was a bit of a sense of futility among everyone when it comes to this process here, Allison.
Dasha, Congressman Meijer admitting that voting to impeach Trump a second time was, quote, probably an act of political suicide. How do voters there view his decision?
Yeah, so, Allison, it's important to remember that Congressman Meijer took the seat previously held by Justin Amash, who, of course, took a pretty big political hit after his own impeachment vote and has since retreated from the Republican Party. But again, we're in a very different place at this point. And as I was talking to these Republicans about who they think represents the party now and where they stand, I got some interesting responses. Listen.
I would love to see more voices like Peter Meijer, like Fred Upton, like Ben Sass, like Adam Kinzinger, have the ability to, sort of rise to the top of the national discourse.
I'm hoping that we see more of the Peter Meijers. I'm not believing a word out of Susan Collins and those that have flip-flopped so much. Senator Romney is speaking out a little bit more, but again, I think it might be too little too late.
Another one of the voters we spoke with, Jerry Stepanovich, he said that right now the Republican Party does not have a band leader, and he just doesn't know who that's going to be just yet, Allison.
So, Dasha, what specifically have those voters said about President Trump's re-election loss and what that means for the future of the party?
Yeah, it's so interesting because we did spend quite a bit of time here in 2020, and the trends that we saw evolve over the past year were sort of harbingers for this very now pretty explicit identity crisis happening within the Republican Party. And this is a county that sort of represents some of the challenges in the GOP. I mean, Joe Biden flipped this county for just the second time in half a century, and that was at least in part because of some of these Republican voters. And I got the sense that some of these folks are hoping that once Donald Trump was defeated, that there would be a sense of normalcy that would start trickling back into the party. But they say that just didn't happen. In fact, some of them said that they're seeing the opposite play out here. And two of the voters we spoke with, Cynthia and Katie, have decided to wash their hands of the Republican Party completely. Others that are still hanging on, not quite ready to cut ties, are concerned, though, about where this is all heading. Take a listen.
I would not associate myself with the Republican Party at all anymore. Their values aren't my values.
I thought that there was hope for the GOP that I grew up with. and admired, not this tea-stained trash that we have.
Do you think the Republican Party survives this moment?
We need a wake-up call, and that wake-up call, I don't know where it's going to come from, but unless we can come together and work with others, I see it failing.
But Allison, all of this very different from the storylines playing out in other places that we've been tracking, like Beaver County, Pennsylvania. That area is still very much hanging on to support for Donald Trump, and we'll be there early next week to show that contrast that we're seeing play out across the country. Allison.
Dasha, I just have one question before you go. Am I seeing correctly, because my eyes are getting old, am I seeing Christmas decorations behind you correctly? It must really feel like you never left Kent County.
It does feel like one long Grand Rapids winter wonderland dream a little bit. Yeah, they've got a lot of lights up all across the city, actually. It's really beautiful. If it weren't so darn cold, I'd be much more excited, Allison.
I was going to say it is rather festive. It looks really pretty, but you must be freezing, so we'll let you get back inside. Dasha, thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Feels like of 3 degrees. Feels like of 3 degrees.
Oh.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.